my dearest friends, and welcome to ukvisasuccess.com channel. I'm Svetlana Shlapak, the creator of this free channel, and I am a senior immigration solicitor based in London, UK. After more than 15 years of helping so many people with their immigration challenges, I realized that the majority of visa refusals happen because people simply do not understand how the UK immigration law works. I therefore created this free, frequently asked questions show to change this, to help you understand the UK immigration system. I'm here to deconstruct the UK immigration rules for you and explain how you can apply this knowledge in practice. And here is your next frequently asked question. And yes, my friends, immigration law is a very, very deep area of law. I can only take so much of your time during each video, and as much as I love to, I have to be very succinct and choose the most important parts to explain to you during these videos. If after watching these videos you decide that you would like to know more, please visit ukvisasuccess.com more, as at this page I've provided you with the links to great free in-depth material which will help you on your way to success with your immigration matter. Do I need to pay immigration health surcharge, and if so, how much? The immigration health surcharge, the IHS, was introduced in 2015 to deal with the problem of medical tourism involving the NHS in England, as allegedly it was consisting the NHS and the UK taxpayers roughly between 110 to 280 million pounds a year. If you're a visa national and you're applying for any type of visa which is longer than 6 months, and it's not part of the settlement application, then chances are that you'll need to pay the IHS. How much do you need to pay? It all depends on your type of application. But just to give you a rough idea, it can be £150 per year for a student. So, for example, if they're applying for a 2-year visa, then it will be £300 and roughly £200 per year for any other types of immigration applications. So if someone applies for a 5-year visa, then they will need to pay roughly £1,000. However, as I said, this is a general guidance, and the fee you will need to pay will always depend on the type of the application and the number of dependents you're applying with. How much more? It will depend on the type of application, but here is a very, very simple way of checking this out. Suppose you're a visa national and making your application to enter the UK together with 2 visa national children to join your British citizen husband here in the UK. So what you need to do is this. You need to go to www.immigration-health-surcharge.service.gov.uk/checker/type, and then choose coming to the UK with dependents, and then they ask you how many dependents you are traveling to the UK with, and the answer is 2 in our case scenario. And then you have to answer the following questions. They were double checking whether or not you are in the UK. The answer is no. And they ask if you're applying to stay in an Isle of Man, Jersey, or Guernsey, and the answer is no. They ask for your nationality. Let's say you are a Ukrainian national, and what type of visa, because a spouse visa will eventually lead to settlement, so you will need to choose type of visa as settlement. And what is your visa type? You are applying as a wife, and you give your date of birth, and then they are asking for nationalities of your children just to make sure that they're both visa nationals, because if they're not, then chances are that sometimes they don't need to pay. And here is your answer. You will need to pay a total of £1,800 for the entire application for yourself and for the dependents as part of the immigration health surcharge service. And when you must pay, it all depends on how you apply. If you apply for your visa online, you pay the surcharge as part of your application. If you apply for a visa through a premium service center, then you'll need to pay the surcharge when you book an appointment. And if you apply for a visa by post, then you must pay the surcharge online before you send your application. And you'll need to include your IHS reference number on the application form. And to get this reference number, you need to go to .gov.uk/healthcare-immigration-application/pay, And even if you don't have to pay for the application, there are circumstances when you still need to apply for a reference number. For example, if you're applying as a child under the age of 18 who has been taken into care by a local authority, or if you're applying as a relevant civilian employee at NATO or the Australian Department of Defence in the UK, or as a dependent, then there is no need for you to pay the fee, but you still have to get the reference number. You don't need to get a reference number and you don't need to pay a fee if you're applying for indefinite leave to remain in the UK, or if you're applying as a diplomat or a member of a visiting armed forces and you're not subject to immigration control, or if you're applying as a dependent of a member in the UK's armed forces, or if you are the dependent of a member of another country's armed forces who is exempt from immigration control, or if you're applying as a family member of European national with European Union treaty rights. Well, this one is likely to change very soon with Brexit, probably in March 2019. Or if you're applying for a visa for the Isle of Man or Channel Islands, and I remember they've asked you a question previously when we were submitting, calculating the fees. They've asked whether or not you are going to live on these islands. And the next one, if you're applying as a British Overseas Territory citizen resident in the Falkland Islands, or if you're applying as an asylum seeker or someone who was seeking humanitarian protection, or as their dependent, or if you're applying as a domestic worker who has been identified as a victim of slavery or human trafficking, or if you're applying for discretionary leave to remain in the UK as someone who has been identified as a victim of slavery or human trafficking, or as their dependent, or the Home Office's domestic violence concession applies to your application, or you're applying as their dependent, or being made to leave the UK would be against your rights under Article 3 of the European Convention. And also, it's very important for you to know that you will need to pay healthcare surcharge if you're applying for indefinite leave to remain in the UK, but are only given a limited leave to remain. This normally happens when you don't meet one of the requirements, and therefore, instead of refusing the application, they give you further leave to remain. In this circumstance, you will still need to pay the fee. And also, you don't need to pay the surcharge or get the IHS reference number if you're applying for a visitor's visa, or your visa is for 6 months or less and you are making this application from outside the UK. And once again, just to remind you that at ukvisasuccess.com/more, I've provided you with a number of links to free resources which I've created to help you understand the UK immigration law better. Have a great day, everyone.